If you don't have a brand, it's hard to stand out.
And if you can't share that, you are just another person who's posting 5 new glute exercises and ways to grow your glutes. And like, people can Google that.
People are like, I don't know you and I don't like you and I don't trust you. Like, why would I ever buy from you?
They have to be confident in taking up space.
I have so many providers that are like, I don't agree with that. And I'm like, cool.
You are the writer of your own life and you get to be the one that continues to shape it how you want it.
That on the Female Blueprint, like that is exactly what this podcast is about. So welcome back to the Female Blueprint podcast. Today, I'm so excited to welcome Cheryl of Hey Sunny Studio, a brand and website designer, voice amplifier for service-based business owners, and someone who champions doing things differently. We're going to dig into how women business owners can craft a brand that truly reflects their voice, stand out in a crowded space, and build from a place of authenticity, not just following the blueprint. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you. It's going to be good.
So pumped. So long story short for everybody on here. So I hired Cheryl back in like November of last year. So this is like a year ago.
Yeah. Full circle. Wow.
Completely redo my brand, my website. It's been an incredible journey ever since I redid all of that. And I'm so excited to chat with her today for all of the listeners to just kind of like understand like why we need to build a brand. Why do we need these cute colors and fonts and a nice website? And so Cheryl, let's start at the beginning for you. What drew you into brand and like website design, especially for like service-based business owners?
Yeah, so my path to where I am now was definitely not linear. I didn't go to post-secondary and, take any sort of design course or diplomas or degrees or anything like that. My journey here actually started in the health and fitness space. I worked at a gym. And I was a jack of all trades there. I was a coach who led classes. I was a nutrition coach. I did copywriting. We had social media stuff to do. And I was also in sales. And I did quite a bit of sales training. But at that time, sales was really like kind of slimy how we were taught, pick at people's pain points to try to coerce them into signing up. And that was just something that never really sat right with me. And being in the gym atmosphere and in the sales, leading people on the floor, I was really able to see the people who felt connected to the brand and felt like they could, work through their struggles and actually like get the results that they're longing for, right? And that they have really struggled to get for a long time. And I was able to see the people who connected with that and then the people who didn't connect with that. And during my time at the gym, I was there from when it started to the peak and then kind of the downfall of it too. And during the downfall, I ended up getting pregnant and went on mat leave. And at that point, working at the gym just wasn't conducive to having kids. It was really early shifts. It was really late nights. And it just didn't work with our family. And so while I was on mat leave, I kind of decided that I needed to switch gears and do something else, although I've always had such a passion for the health and fitness space. And seeing the disconnect between the brand and the client, that was the kind of the key element that I wanted to focus on. And so that's where brand and website design kind of came in. So the whole psychology behind branding, how a brand can interact with a person, what you need to connect emotionally to somebody, especially in the health industry when there are so many women who are struggling with their appearance, body image, but also physical internal issues too. So I really I wanted to be the person that helps people help more people in the space.
No, I love that you put it like that because you really are. Like, even from my own experience with you, you really helped me get like my brain onto a website to be able to describe to other people, like, here's how I can help you. Here's my background. Here's my knowledge. Here's my passion. Like, and put it all into a beautiful little space. And then like, now those people have an opportunity to be like, okay, yeah, this is what I need. This is what I don't need. This is what I like, don't like. and it allows people to make informed decisions, right? Like, and it's not
Mhm.
awful sales, like it's not pushy, it's not like, here, buy
Yeah.
my program, blah blah blah. It's like, no, like I lead you down an informed decision making process through nice words and pretty
Yeah.
pictures and like everything like that. So
Yeah.
when was this? This was, how long ago was this?
4 years, 5 years, 2020, I went on mat leave and started the studio, I guess 2021, December
Mhm.
2021. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been in it for a bit.
So where are you at today? What is your main focus? Tell everybody a little bit about Hey Sunny.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Main focus right now, we're kind of building out this other side of the studio, which I'm very excited about, and focusing more on kind of the person behind the brand and really helping that individual gain some semblance of balance with their life and regulation with their life and their business, because so many business owners, you start out, especially in the health and fitness industry, it is cutthroat,
It
right? It
is.
is cutthroat. And not only are you competing with new folks, but you're also competing with the quick fixes and the magic pills and the drinks and the band-aids, right? And it's so easy to burn yourself out because you have such heavy competition. And even if you don't see it as competition, it's still competition, right? You're still trying to get ahead of everybody else and trying to get your voice heard, and it's so easy to burn yourself out. So right now, while we're still working heavily on the brand and website design front, we're really trying to bring in this other element to the business owners, and help them just gain back semblance of their life so that it doesn't feel like they are only business and can only be business all the time. They can actually like gain back their personal life and live a really well lived life because their business enables them to have that, instead of sacrificing their life just to run a business.
Yeah, I totally get this because I feel like once I kind of rebranded my business and self, like it kind of started doing more work for me. Whereas before, like I had like a link in bio and I always had to be like link in bio, and like then I have all my like resources in there. And I was always having to push that. It was very cutthroat. It was very trying to make noise to like sell a service, right? And then when I kind of rebranded everything, like it was cohesive and it was my voice and it allowed to have more conversions because I feel like people were able to just see me, know me, relate with me, and then make an informed decision. So I really,
Yes.
really think that that's going to be a big piece of your business because I didn't see that as a business owner. I was like, oh, I guess I need a website. I guess I need branding. Like, I didn't really know the why
Yeah.
behind it. I just knew that I needed to do it. But on the flip side, looking back, I'm like, wow, that actually kind of brought my business more business. And I have more PTs that work now. And it's like, I've
Mhm.
gotten my time back, right? Like, I've gotten more things in my life that I can be more passionate about. I can go do things. I can go whatever on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I don't have to like
Yeah.
sit behind my computer and point people to the link in my bio. So I
Mhm.
think that's going to be a huge piece of your business and helping other business owners find that balance, even though that's not like maybe what they were looking for originally, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, there a couple things, a couple thoughts with that. Like, your brand and your website, all of it works together psychologically to influence somebody's emotional buy-in to your business, right? Whether they instantly like you, whether they need a little bit of warming up, or whether you're just somebody who's not for them. And when you don't have a website that kind of backs that, especially if you're marketing primarily on social media, if you don't have a website that backs that, then they're only going to really be learning who you are from your Instagram stories that day and as far back as they're willing to scroll in your feed, right? So your website really allows you to position yourself strongly how you want to be positioned within your industry. And one of the best compliments that you can receive is somebody saying, "I read your website and I felt like I knew exactly who you are and you were the one for me."
Mhm.
Right? And on the other side of it too, like, we've reached this point with so many business owners online, particularly women, where burnout, I don't want to say it's become a badge of honor, but maybe hustle has become a badge
Yeah.
of honor. And
Yeah.
that's because we have just kind of been shoved into almost the like bro operating way of doing things, right? Like
Yeah.
sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice until you build your business, but then nobody tells you what to do after you've built your business, right? Like I'm a huge believer in the fact that like, yeah, you got to hustle, you got to have some sacrifice. You have to earn your place at the table. But what happens after you're sitting down and you're eating with the big dogs, right? And you've made it, so to speak. How do you kind of slow down and actually gain back some control over your business and over your life? And a lot of that is stabilizing. So like your brand and your website, that's a huge system for you to be able to rely on so that you can position yourself where you want to be so that you get the clients coming in. And then the next piece is being able to stabilize your business so that you can scale in new ways without burning out, or you can, just like go shoot pool on a Tuesday in the afternoon and not really have any sort of deadlines you got to meet because everything's
Already
already
running.
organized. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So this is for obviously more for the person that's kind of they've made it, they're at the top, they're sitting down, they're eating their lunch buffet. So let's bring it back to somebody brand new. And branding can feel very overwhelming. I remember when I first got started, I was like, oh, I need a name. I need a logo. I need the colors. I need all of this stuff. And like my business coaches at the time were like, no, you don't. Like, you don't need that to launch a product. It makes you look more put together, sure. But like, you don't need all of these things. So for new business owners, or somebody just kind of launching a product or a service, it's very overwhelming. So for women stepping into maybe their voice or maybe they're afraid to be seen, what's one thing that you learned early on about creating like brand identity that like somebody who's brand new to it needs to like, okay, I really do need this or I really don't need this. Like how do they kind of like open up and like start their brand, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer that you shouldn't feel like you have to embody your brand. Your brand needs to be something that kind of embodies parts of you, right? So right off the hop, like if you're not somebody who has been in business before, or you don't have a solid business plan in place, right? You just kind of have this idea and this offer that you want to run with. I don't think you need to invest $5,000, $6,000 into a full brand identity and website. I think you need to spend some time with like boots on the ground, kind of uncovering and discovering what you want your brand to be, what specific problems you want to solve, and kind of the energy that you bring to the table for that particular industry. So I don't think anybody starting out really needs to be putting heavy investments into their brand and their website unless they have the plans in place and they've kind of had some business experience before. Simply because in the first year, even 2 years of business, that's where you're really discovering who you are and how you want to show up online, right? Are you the bold, sassy brand who is kind of, you know, giving people the real talk that they need to hear and not sugarcoating stuff? Or are you the gentle brand who's more inspirational and kind of helps to ease folks into it? That's something that if you've never done online marketing before, like you're discovering that in the first couple of years. And yeah, sure, maybe investing right off the hop, that could be good to really solidify yourself as a business and somebody who has experience. But if you're kind of just starting out in the game, like spend some time discovering, and that is your trial and error period. That is where you are trying something out, you are seeing if it works, and then you are pivoting and you are deciding to go a different route.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
feel like right now on social media, if you don't have a brand, like just a personal brand, not like a business brand, it's hard to stand out. Like
Yeah.
if you're just like posting things to like give value, like here, follow these exercise, here, don't do this, do this. People are like, I don't know you and I don't like you and I don't trust you. Like, why would I ever buy from you?
Yeah.
So I feel like talk a little bit about personal branding and how somebody in their first couple years of business that could be something that they focus on for themselves. Start embodying parts of them and then later maybe investing in like a business branding. That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really smart, right? You need trust, right? Like that is at the bottom line. You need to have trust with your audience. They need to trust you. They need to trust that the words that you're saying are actually going to affect them in the way that you intend them to be affected, right? And building a personal brand is great because people get to know who you are behind the scenes, so to speak. 5, 10 years ago, people could get away with just having a business front, but now people really, really care where they are putting their money. Whether
I feel like
that's
influencers really kind of ruined it for us.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like
100%.
everybody is being sold to left and right, and
Oh, yeah.
everybody has their paywalls up.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many scams out there now, or maybe not even scams, but things that just don't work. It's just another 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 200 bucks that fills up people's inbox and nobody opens it, right? So people are more hesitant to purchase, and that's where you need to be real online, and you need to be willing to show your face, you need to be willing to talk, you need to be willing to share some semblance of who you are. You don't have to come on and, talk about how your boyfriend and you just broke up, or your dog died, or
Yeah.
the groceries are sky high. Like, unless you want to, and that's part of your angle, great, like,
Yeah.
be real, but you're not coming on and sharing the nitty-gritty parts of you unless
Yeah.
that's something you choose to, right? People wanna find things that they can relate to you, the type of music you listen to, what concerts you're going to, if you work out or not, if you train or not. That right there is a key piece of, does somebody value their health, right? Can I trust to put my money in this person if they value their health or not, right? um and like, the side of politics gets kind of dicey because there are some people who that is a hill to die on, right? If you don't have
Oh,
the same
yeah.
political views, then they're not going to buy from you. And so again, that's a business owner's decision, your personal decision, whether you want to be sharing that stuff online or not. But having the personal side, that's the fastest way you're going to build trust with people. That's the fastest way they're going to get to know you. That's the fastest way they're going to like you or choose that you are not their person. And that is what you want. You want to have like the very, not the hard division, but you want people to be able to land on your page on socials and say, like, yeah, you're not the one for me, and that's okay. Or this is the girl I need to follow because she's going to change my life.
Yes, absolutely. That's so perfect the way you just described that. Personal branding is so big, and I, like, do business consultations for people all the time, and I'm like, "What are you showing up as on social media right now? Are you just showing 5 signs of pelvic floor dysfunction, or are you showing people that you actually had pelvic floor dysfunction, and here are the things that you used to do for your own issues, and now you help people do the same?" I'm like, the angle is completely different, right? You have to be able to maybe show both, right? So, the next question I have would be like, so when a service-based founder comes to you and says, like, I feel invisible in this dog eat world out here, what is your like go-to questions or exercises for that person to kind of help them start finding their own unique voice when they're like, I don't know how to stand out. Everybody posts about fitness. Everybody posts their meals already. Like, what else can they do?
You got to look back at your story and spend some time actually in your story, where you started off and how you got to where you are now, all of the road bumps, all speed bumps, roadblocks along the way, what you had to work through, what you tried, what didn't work, why it didn't work. You have to analyze all of those things. Your story is, again, it's one of the things that people are going to connect with. And if you can't share that, you are just another person who's posting 5 new glute exercises and ways to grow your glutes, and like, people can Google that. Nobody's gonna listen to you
People
just
been
posting.
posting that.
Yeah, yeah, like, I'm done. I am done with
Yeah.
that.
I
uh,
literally cannot post these types of videos anymore
oh yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
like, you can find that on YouTube,
yeah.
and then you're gonna go do it, and you're not gonna get results, so why would I contribute to the issue, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just noise, right? Noise that kind of plugs up the system. And then the other questions would be, what really pisses you off in your industry? Like,
That's
what
good.
grinds your gears when you when you see a post like 5 glute exercises? Like, what pisses you off? Why does it piss you off? What angers
Mhm.
you? What frustrates you? What frustrates you? What is the norm that you don't adhere to? And what really lights you up? What makes you excited? What's the best testimonial you've ever gotten, and why was it the best? Those are
Those
all
are
the
so good.
questions that are really going to help you figure out your perspectives. And I know like hot takes and points of view are so big right now, but people, they need to like actually be firm in those points of view, because that is what's going to help you stand out with your voice anyways. Sharing a point of view that's very like light and fruity and something that we see generally everywhere, that's not a point of view. That's a
Mhm.
general statement. That's a trend we're seeing around now, right? Like
Mhm.
people need to be leaders in their points of view, in their perspectives. They have to be confident in taking up space, and they have to be okay with the fact that another provider might come in and say like, I don't actually agree with that. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
You say, great, that's my approach. See you later.
Yep. That's so good. I feel like everything that you just hit on is like what I try so hard to do. And yeah, I have so many providers that are like, I don't agree with that. And I'm like, cool. Like, you were trained differently, your treatments are different than mine, like, we can differ, and I'm
Mhm.
still gonna go to sleep at night and not worry about what you think about what I do, right? And
Yeah.
that's the other piece too, is, like, some people are afraid to have those polarizing views or afraid to talk about their frustrations because they wanna be liked, right? They want those follows, but I'm telling you, and you're saying it too, it's like, that's what's actually going to bring the followers because you establish authority in your space. People are like, "Oh, wait, she has something to say. What she is saying, I can side with. I can see her perspective of why she doesn't agree with XYZ." And then, of course, you'll get the people that don't, and cool, don't follow me, unfollow me, please block
Yeah.
me for all I care. But, like,
Yeah.
at that point, it's like you need to have some level of voice to show your authority and also show that you know what you're talking about. It kind of backs
Yeah.
up your like your brand. It kind of backs up your approach to why you're going to treat this person that way or give that type of service, right? I think that's
Yeah.
so important. I love that you just brought that out.
Well, and when you have a story that also backs that, a personal
Mhm.
story or a client story too, like it's all layering in
Yeah.
the trust factor, right?
Yeah,
And social
absolutely.
proof too.
How can women embrace their brand voice when the tendency is to copy what's already working from others? So back to
Ooh.
kind of like glutes and like, well, that person posted that, like it did really well. Let me just go copy what they're doing. So how can they stand out from what everyone else is already doing?
Yeah, so everybody can give advice in how to grow their glutes, but nobody can say it like how you can say it. Right? So if part of your content is growing your glutes, and there is, especially in the fitness industry, right? You need to have some sort of value, and potential clients, leads, they're going to be looking for workouts, programs, exercises to trial of yours to determine whether they work or not, right? And so if you need to be posting glute exercises, like mic yourself up, get in front of the camera, actually lead them through, use your humor, use your mannerisms, show that is what's going to help to separate you and help you start to utilize your own voice.
Mic drop. That was so good.
Thanks.
I don't even think I need to follow up on that because that, like, is what's going to make you stand out because people are going to like that. They're going to see your approach and be like, "Okay, yeah, I actually wanna go utilize that program or hire that person," or whatever. So that's really good. So let's get into branding a little bit and, like, elements of branding. So when it comes to, like, designing and colors and messaging and, like, logos and stuff, like, how do women, like, come across that? And, like, obviously, that's a big part of what you do, and you help people do that. But for me, when I came to you, I was like, I don't know, nature tones, earthy tones, and then you just, like, went to work and made it all happen.
Yes. Yes. Um, hmm. There's like there's a process that we go through with it. I'm also I'm like, am I giving away our secret sauce? But I don't
Don't
think
give
it
away the
is
secret
either.
sauce.
The biggest element that we kind of look at, and I don't want to say that it's also our superpower, but it is kind of our superpower, and I'll just blow ourselves up a little bit.
Of
But
course.
we can just pick up on the energy of our clients so easily, right? What kind of edges they have, what kind of softness they need, and we take a look at obviously what you prefer for your brand, right? Like we sent you our road trip workbook, you filled that out, you had your likes, your dislikes, what kind of the overall vibe was that you were wanting. But then we take into consideration who you are and who we think your brand is going to be, the direction that it can grow in. And that's how we kind of start to piece things together, right? So that's how we kind of land on a color palette that has some coolness to it with a little bit of warmth versus something that is fully warm, might come across as more gentle or, more retro or more moody in that regard.
It's so funny that
And
you say this because, like, when I think of
yeah,
colors, I'm like, "I like that color." Like, it's not like cool
yeah.
means, like, edgy or, like, warm means, like, calm. Like, I never in a million years would have, like, thought like that, and then you're like, "Oh," when you were explaining my palette to me, I was like, "Oh, like, I like that." Like, in my anatomy brain, like, that's not a thing that I think about.
Yeah, yeah, there's a psychology to color, right? Like if we want to add some punch to a brand, we are going with either neon tones or we're looking at reds, we're looking at oranges, we're looking at pops, things that can add zing and add energy to it. And there's different psychological associations with color palettes, right? Like red is hunger, it's energy, it's why, McDonald's uses red in their
Mhm.
branding, right? Is
Yeah.
because that psychologically triggers people to be hungry and why you see that in a lot of restaurants, right? So it
So good.
all influences. Yeah. So we take into consideration, obviously, your brand, but then your clients too. You're building your brand, yes, for yourself, but your brand is also kind of built for the old version of you, right? The version of you who you needed 5, 10, 15 years ago. That's why you started your business, is because you saw a problem and you knew that you needed to solve it because nobody else was solving it in the way it needed to be solved.
Yeah.
So your ideal clients are also a factor in how your brand aesthetics are going to look because they're the ones who are going to be impacted by it. So, as much as, yes, your messaging, your social media, how you show up online is influencing their emotional connection, the colors, the fonts, the styling, the illustrations, all of that is impacting them too.
Wow, that's such a big education piece right there. Like, so good, Cheryl. So how do you tie brand identity work to, like, business outcomes? Like, how are because when I was thinking about, working with you, I'm like, "Okay, better website, cool colors, cool fonts, like, oh my god, more revenue." Like, that's in my mind as a business owner, I'm like, "That's what I need," that's the next step in my business. So when a business owner is coming to you and you're like, "I just need more conversions," like, is that the right thinking? Like, people should expect that? Or, how are you kind of, like, helping people with that narrative?
Yeah, so I guess I'll kind of come out swinging with this one and say that you can pay for a brand and a website, but if you're not going to market it and actually put it to use, it's not going to do anything for you, right?
Yeah,
You
so
have
true.
to actually be implementing the things that you are purchasing, right? Utilizing your branding correctly so that it can influence people correctly, so that they can purchase things, right? Direct people to your website, be sharing pages on your website, talk about people can find the information to your on your website, right? You have to be utilizing those things. And yes, they will influence your conversion rates in the sense that it's going to change how your business is being perceived. If you are coming in, and this is where like our whole kind of shtick is helping service-based business owners move out of newbies into industry leaders, right? You're no longer a newbie. You're stuck in the starter stage because your branding makes you look like you just started, right? And that is influencing whether people want to pay the price of your services and whether, they think that you're actually going to be a solution for them. So once you redo your branding, you update your branding, your website to match the level that you're at right now, the knowledge, the experience, the skills, the amount of clients that you've worked with, then that's where you're going to be seeing an increase in revenue and an increase in conversions because people will see you for what you're actually worth, right? And what you're being
Yes.
recognized for what you're worth.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I feel like it was a scary jump for me, and I love that I just get to use my personal experience for this whole podcast because it really is, like, it's exactly what happened to me. So, like, I was always nervous to, like, invest in, like, a huge website in branding design. I didn't even know that I needed it, right? But
Mhm.
I was like, I'm kind of at this point in my business that I'm like, "Okay, I've been doing this for a couple of years," and I'm like, "What is the next level that can make me, like, more official?" And it's my business was doing well, but I'm like, "Can it do better? Can it have more reach? Can I have even more authority behind my content?" Because everybody I feel like says now, it's like, "Oh, your Instagram's kind of like your website," you know? Like, when I'm going to look for, let's say, a new hairdresser, like, you bet your bottom dollar, if they're not on Instagram, I'm probably not going to them. Like, I'm looking for their Instagram, and I'm looking for their work, their portfolio, if you will, whether they have a website or not. And so I'm like, Instagram is kind of like a website, but I'm like, "No, I need a real deal. I need a real website." Like, you remember my website.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I hired somebody on, like, Fiverr to make that for, like,
Yeah.
$50. Like,
It
and it
did
was
its job. It did its
get people
job, you know?
around, right? Like, it was fine for what it was, but you kind of need that, like, next level, like so this kinda leads me into the next question of, like, so say a business owner was kind of in not that beginner stage, but they're kind of in that, like, "Okay, I've been doing this for a while, I'm kind of in that middle phase." What's one immediate action that she can kinda, like, take right now to move from, like, "Okay, I'm kind of invisible, I've kind of been doing this for a while, I don't really have a website," or maybe I have, like, a Fiverr website, to really, like, next level. Like, let me just, like, open my doors, let me just, like, show everybody who I am, what I have to offer.
Yeah, you need to, on a personal front, own the fact that you are now building a legitimate business and it's no longer a side hobby. It's not a gig. It's not something you are trying to build. You have built it. You need to own that and actually recognize that now you got to spend some time investing to get your business to look at the level that it is, right? There's always going to be a tipping point, and you can either choose to step into that next phase, or you can kind of stay in that tipping point and just spin your tires and be stuck. So, that I would say that's the point where you need to invest in branding. You need to invest in a website. As you mentioned, Instagram has kind of become it's that next layer of trust building, right? Is this
It's like, "Let
person
me
active?
authentify this person." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and, like, is this person active anymore,
yeah.
right? Like, are they actually a
They post
business?
in
Are they actually
2017, the last time they posted, like, are they
Yeah,
even alive?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But specifically in the health and fitness industry, well, you're competing with MLMs out there. So, yeah, Instagram, that can be your website for a bit, but if you want to legitimatize yourself, ooh, you gotta get an actual website because what's going to differentiate, what you're sharing from Beachbody, from a
Mhm.
Beachbody coach sharing workouts over there. How am I gonna know that you are an online coach, an online trainer, and you have something of your own making to offer if you don't have anything that actually legitimatizes you as a business owner?
Yeah. That's so good because for me too, it's like I'm physical therapy, it's legitimate, I'm not just a online fitness trainer. I actually am a doctor licensed PT, like, so for me, I'm like, "Yeah, I offer virtual physical therapy," and people are like, "Is that a scam? Like, what is
Yeah,
that? Is that telemedicine? Is that through my insurance?" And I'm like, "No, like, this is a legitimate business, I just help you online." Just as if you were to walk into my clinic doors, I don't have like a physical location. It's just online. I swear I'm real. I'm not going to scam you. I have an actual business. And so for the woman listening to this who might be a pelvic floor PT or virtual chiropractor or whatever kind of professional you are, this is like speaking to you because this is what you need to, like, actually make you a real professional in the online space when there's just noise. There's instructors claiming that they're pelvic floor specialists. It's crazy. There's a fitness trainer saying that she's a postpartum pelvic floor whatever rehab, and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, stop doing that." Like, you are leading people so wrong. And so anyway, I just think that this is such a valuable conversation because, like, you really do wanna be able to stand out in a like, a chaos of a Instagram channel that, like,
Oh, yeah.
especially if somebody online, like, that's your primary mode of marketing for free,
Yeah.
right? Without pumping money through ads.
Yeah. And if you are, if you're a chiropractor, if you're a PT, if you are an osteo, anything within the rehab space, there's always going to be this layer of, does that actually work?
Mhm.
Is that real? And I think it's generational, right? Like I remember my dad saying, chiropractor, the bone cruncher, that doesn't do anything, right? Like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was just the family he came from.
Yeah.
But and that it still influences us and what we hear. And if you are not somebody who has spent time focusing on root cause solutions, then starting out going to a PT or a chiropractor, an osteo, or wherever, that there's going to be hesitations to that, whether it's real, whether it works, right? So again, your website, that's another layer that legitimatizes you as a business and gives you the opportunity to speak about your process, to speak about your approach, about why you do things differently. And it's kind of like your diploma on the wall, essentially, right? We hear for product based businesses, your website is your storefront. Well, as a service based business, that's your online office. That is your
Mhm.
diploma on the wall. That's how somebody is going to be able to come to your website and actually see, like, you have credentials. You have spent the time, the money, you know what you're talking about, and you have the social proof to back it up versus somebody who's just online who took a weekend course on pelvic floor or prenatal
Yeah.
and they have a lot of personal experience. Like, yeah, personal experience is great, but it's not the same as going to school and getting a doctorate, right?
Yeah.
And there needs to be separation. You have to be able to separate yourself.
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a really good point from being a professional and just like a trainer. If you're offering something that is so much more specialized than whatever, like fitness training, like you gotta have proof for that. And so that's where it's like, yeah, you have to bridge past an Instagram or just a link in bio and get yourself out there and really legitimatize yourself with a website. But most coaches will also say, like even business coaches, like, they're like, you don't need it initially, you don't need it initially. And I'm like, if I were to go back, I'm like, I think I got my like Fiverr website like pretty quick. I was like, no, like I'm not taking your advice because I think that I still need to stand out from this Lincoln Bio fitness trainer over here that's selling pelvic floor programs. Like, and don't get me wrong, they're still going to sell those, but like for what I can offer for a long term relief, holistic root cause approach, like I'm legitimate. Like a lot of school behind this. So that's really good. So, okay. So I'm curious for myself. So, when does somebody kind of like rebrand again? Like, what is the next level of business? Because I'm like, I'm good with my website. I love it. Like, I love my colors. I love everything about it. Like, when do you kind of recommend for like another layer or like what would ever be next? Like, years down the road or like what does that look like?
Yeah, that depends on how the direction in which your business scales and grows, right? Like if you're happy with how things are right now, you have the team, you're going to hold steady at that for a while, maybe add one or two. You don't need to rebrand for a while, right? Couple years for sure, gosh. And again, it really just depends on how the direction your business grows. If in 2 years you dismantle and you are changing up your offers, you're kind of bringing a different energy to the table, then yeah, you need a rebrand. You can't piggyback off of what you had and, kind of keep doing the same thing with new offers and a new perspective. It's kind of like if you're changing the attitude of your business,
Hmm.
then your brand needs to change. If you're changing your
Yeah.
offers a lot, your website needs to change. And those two are going to go hand in hand.
Okay. I love that. So let's say somebody brands for the first time or rebrands, and how can somebody like step into that like properly? Because I know that when I launched my brand, it was like a whole thing. Like it was very exciting. Like I had to like kind of gear up for it. You don't want to just like drop it out of nowhere. How does somebody like create excitement and like step into it so where it's like kind of celebrated? Like everyone around them is celebrating, everyone around it is seeing it and it's like exciting time. So like maybe like a successful launch versus like an unsuccessful launch, right? Like how does somebody go into that?
Yeah, yeah, a proper rollout. A rollout plan is what we call that. So
Okay.
you don't want to keep it to yourself from the beginning, right? Like a lot of business owners, when they rebrand, they think that they just kind of gotta go quiet, and then it
Yeah.
becomes this whole like surprise, like we're new. But what that does is it like it's a shock to people, right? They go like, oh, when did this happen? Why did this happen?
Yeah.
Where do things go from now, right? Like you have to bring your people along for the ride. Share the fact that you're hopping on a discovery call with us, and you're going to be working on a rebrand and a new website. Share your mood board, share your some clips of your logo suite, like share the new angles that you are wanting to bring to your business. Share the points of view that you are now standing firm in, right? Like all of that is what's going to build up to this kind of bigger launch. And it's not a quiet explosion. It's a gradual build up to the peak. And at that peak, you also want to have something that your folks can be either purchasing or opting into, right? Is that a free masterclass? Is that a training? Is that a series? Is that a new offer? Like, what is that thing that you are giving back to them as a thank you, right? Of a, you've been following along with me for so long, and we hit this new phase of our business. We're rebranding. We got a new website because of you and because of your support. Even if you're a lurker, if you just comment and you've never purchased before, like you're a part of the audience. And thank you for that. Here's a thing for you, right? And you got to treat it not as a lead magnet. In the back end it's a lead magnet, but you can't,
Mhm.
treat it as a lead magnet. You are sharing it from your heart, and that's where people are really going to have the excitement. And then you can slowly kind of start to phase into regular content, regular posts, sharing your offers, moving into your next marketing campaign.
I love that. Oh, I remember it was such an exciting time, like,
Yeah.
and I was, like, annoying about it. I was like that girl. I'm like, "Look at me. Look at my
Yeah.
rebrand. Like, look what's happening." Like,
But
well, it was just so exciting.
that's also something so many of us struggle with. I mean, before our call, I said, I struggle with talking about myself. And it's the same thing online too, right? Is we get to that point of like, I don't want to say, look at me and look at all I've accomplished, because I don't want to be seen as egotistical or big headed or like I'm on my high horse. But you have to think about also where that thought comes from and be able to move past it and like be proud of yourself. Not enough business owners are proud of the amount of work that they've done and the sacrifices they've made, the time that they've had to put in. And that new brand, that new website, that is a marker of everything you have done. That is a marker of all the late nights and the accumulated no's you've had to make in your life to get to where you are right now. So like, yeah, fucking be
Celebrate.
proud of yourself.
Absolutely. That's so good, and I feel like so many people are just, like, afraid to show that because maybe they're a first-time entrepreneur in their family. Maybe they're the only entrepreneur in their friend group, and everyone's like, "Oh, there she goes again, like, being extra," and it's like, it's like, that's a mindset on them. Like, it is not you. If you're the entrepreneur that's launching a brand, like, it is not you. Like, I promise. Like,
Yeah,
everybody should be excited for you.
one of my favorite quotes right now is embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. And so much of that, like it relates to online, it relates to showing up as you are in your brand and sharing your points of view and not caring what other people think, standing firm in who you are and not being afraid to do things differently either. Like
Yeah.
we are not your typical New York brand designers. I come from a small town in Alberta, very much like I guess what would be small town Texas. And
Yeah.
I'm a rough around the edges kind of gal. Like I am not typical, and it
Yeah.
took me a bit to be okay with that, but
Yeah.
I'm cool with it now. And there was a lot of embarrassing moments along the way and a lot of times that I had to just say like, who cares? Ultimately, who
Mhm.
cares? Because
Yeah.
how I show up online, what I say, what I do, like that is only affecting me, my kids, my family, my future. And if,
Literally.
Joe Blow down the street has an issue with it and he wants to make fun of me, like, well, that represents his character. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Cheryl, last question before we hop off here. What's one rule, piece of advice, or a small blueprint that you were told to follow, like, as a little girl growing up or maybe now as an adult woman, that you've thrown out, and what have you replaced it with?
So I love this question. I came from a family where we were very much, kind of pushed in the direction of go to university, get a degree, get the comfy job. If it sucks, it's fine because you got the six figures and you have a good pension.
Mm.
And the world has just changed so much. And big kind of deciding factor in my journey to totally break away from that and do everything differently was the loss of my dad, and the fact that, when he turned 55, he was able to retire at that point. I remember having a conversation the night that he died, and I asked him, like, you get to retire this year. What are you going to do? Are you going to retire? Like, what's going to happen? And he said he was going to do it all. He was going to wake up whenever he wanted. He was going to go water skiing. He was going to go travel Europe. He was going to go snowmobiling out in Revelstoke whenever he wanted. Like, he was going to do the things. And then he died that night in a drunk driving accident. And that was, he worked at the same company for 27 years. Like, he was one of the highest of the highs up there.
Mhm.
And that conversation is something that has stuck with me, and that's why I didn't prescribe to the typical sort of path that so many of us are pushed down. University, degree, cushy job, work until you can retire to do the shit you love, right? So if you are a new business owner listening, if you're just any sort of business owner listening, and you are in a season of second guessing or doubting or anything of that such, then just trust the fact that you can keep going and you can pave whatever path you want to pave. You don't have to prescribe to the norm, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, wherever. You are the writer of your own life, and you get to be the one that continues to shape it how you want it. So,
Oh, that's so good. And that is that on the female blueprint. Like, that is exactly what this podcast is about. So I couldn't have asked for like a better response to that question. And also, like, how cool of you to just like live on in your dad's legacy of what he wanted to do. And now you get to do that. Like, that is
yeah.
incredible.
Thanks. Yeah. It's been good. Lots of twists and turns. Lots of bumps in
Yeah.
the road, but we're here.
Wouldn't have it any other way, right? Like, you wouldn't go back to the
Oh
other
gosh.
direction.
Not at
No.
all. That's so boring.
Yeah.
Who needs cushy, right?
Who needs comfortable?
Yeah.
Nobody. That's so good. Oh, I have loved this conversation so much. It's been such it's really insightful for the beginner, the middle person, and like the person at the top, right? So thank you so much for sharing a lot of your wisdom, your stories, and kind of your mission with everybody. So where can people find you if they want to learn from you or work with you? Yeah, where can they find you?
Yeah, so we are active on Instagram. HeySunny.studio is our handle. I'm always in there in stories, and that's also where our most up-to-date portfolio is. If you want to work with us and learn about our services, heysunnystudio.com.ca, either or. And we also have a podcast that we're going to be launching soon. I actually just got our mics in the mail. I'm so pumped for it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be called I Hope We Get There, and it really talks about the journey of being a business owner, the personal side of things, how you feel like, everyone's kind of gunning for the destination, but it's always about the journey. So keep
I
your eyes
hope
out for
we
that.
get there. I love that. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
so
I'm so
good. I have
excited
to
for
give
you.
props to Laura for that. She came up with that name. It was fire. It
Oh,
was good.
yeah. Laura, by the way, her partner, also phenomenal. Like, I remember working with the both of you, and like you guys are just like peas in a pod.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that also is blasted on your website, which I think is really cool. I remember like going to find a brand person, right? I'm just like searching on Instagram looking for people, and I came across your guys' page and your website, and I literally like when you talk about a website should make you feel a certain way, like your website made me feel some type of way, and I was like immediately inquire. Like, I had
Nice.
no hesitation to talk to you guys. It was so awesome.
Oh, cool. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
So if you're looking for an amazing brand and website designer, everybody, Cheryl and Laura at Hey Sunny Studio, subtle plug. Like, they are incredible. They will take care of you, and I cannot recommend them enough.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you.